Vietnam. We won't fight another rich man's war. These guys really had good intentions, and these guys were mostly drafted. They didn't volunteer. An army of draftees isn't going to be as loyal to the regime as a army of volunteers, because volunteers are basically follow without question, and a person that's drafted is going to ask a lot of questions and probably isn't going to fit in too well. So that's why we had this ending to the Vietnam War the way it was. Another war we lost, of course. Not these guys' fault. But it was a corporate war. Exactly right. Just as every war has been since. The war on drugs, the war on crime, the war on poverty. We lost all those wars. The war, every war, that all the wars since here, we have fought for the corporations. And of course, with the volunteer army, nobody's going to complain too much. Nobody's going to have big demonstrations at the very end because, hey, you volunteered. Oh, I've been on 9 deployments. Well, why did you re-up? Just get out. It's your choice. And then you look at the economy. There's no jobs. There's nothing important. You can get out of the military after serving 4 years, and you can get a bullshit job somewhere, making $10 an hour. I mean, yeah, that's really exciting. There's nothing, so people stay in the military, and that's why they join. I mean, now we're going into Libya. Why are we going into Libya? Well, I can tell you why. It's to control the resources, not just the oil, the water. We have to remember the Nubian aquifer. We have to remember somebody has to control that resource. If the nukes start flying in the Middle East, there's going to be no clean water. The only clean water in the Middle East is going to be that damn Nubian aquifer. And whoever controls that is going to control the Middle East. You can have all the oil coming out your ass you want, but I tell you can't drink it. You need fresh water. And we're going back into Libya. You can bet your ass on that. We need to control that aquifer. Now, I'm going to go into this here real quick. It's a bit of revelation. It's got everything to do with the war. It's hard to understand, but it's part of it. Now this is Revelation-6, I think. I love reading this book. I love the book of Enoch. I love the book of the Dead Sea, all the Dead Sea Scrolls that I get my hands on. I've read them, tried to, understand them, which is very difficult. Enoch is, of course, my favorite. It basically opened my eyes to a lot of things, and it also opened my eyes to these demons that are buried in the Euphrates Valley, in the bottomless pit, that are going to be let out for a short time. And this is all leading up to it. This is why this is a pretty cool book. I'm not trying to change anybody, your opinion, your life. I don't care if you're religious or not. I don't care if you believe this or not. It doesn't matter to me whatsoever. I'm not trying to change anybody. You can do what you want to do. I just like this. It's a great story. And it's happening now. It's part of the puzzle. If you're putting the whole puzzle together, you have to have all the pieces, or at least reference to the pieces. And this is a great reference. Now, this book is not perfect. The Creator's name, Yahweh, was removed from this book 7,000 times, and the word Lord inserted. So this book has been changed, and it was written by man. It's not perfect, but it has the answers. I mean, it has a lot of the pieces of the puzzle that you can fill in that you can't find anywhere else. And it talks about the spiritual world and the unseen world. It's definitely there. Now, humans in their natural state would be in tune to these things, but we have been removed from our natural state here on earth and put into a artificial state, surrounded by, I mean, look, petroleum products. You look around you, everything's made out of petroleum. There's nothing natural here. Driving your car, going to Taco Bell, nothing is natural about that. Growing fat, growing old, getting cancers and strange diseases, nothing's natural about that. That's all from being removed from our natural state. Now, in Revelation here 6, I'm going to get back to this. This is when events are going to happen. Subtle at first. This is the subtle times. This is when the horses are actually being released. They're calling them horses, but they're events. And this is, we had 9/11. That was when a white horse, and on him set a bow and a crown was given to him. That was Bush, and he went forth to conquer. Okay, we've been conquering since then. And then the red horse. This is a lot. It's got to do with the radiation poisoning in the world, and the chemicals, and now we have gas spewing out there in California. All these events and the wars take peace from the earth. Give him a great sword. We're in that seal. I mean, that horse has already been released. And then we got the last horse. I think we're like in the third or fourth one right now. Oh, this is the third one. And a measure of wheat for 3 measures of barley. Now this means, but don't touch the oil and wine. This means the poor people like me are going to have a hard time here, just making ends meet, while the rich people, he's not going to touch the oil and the wine. These prosperous people, who are these people? They're not going to be touched. It's going to be those guys, world leaders. There they are. They're not going to be bothered with this. You know, they're going to have everything they need. Because why? Because they're part of it, man. If the people that are going to be struggling are going to be the people that know what's going on and have questioned all this, and now you're going to pay the price for asking the questions, which is going to be basically no prosperity whatsoever for you, buddy. That's okay. Now, down here it says, "And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men." Now these are the same men that are mentioned in Revelation 16, where these angels are summoned up, and what do? They go to the kings of the earth. These guys, the captains, the mighty men. And but then it goes on, every bondman. Every bondman is people like normal people that have bought into the system, that followed these mighty men and bought into the system, and of course the people that work for them. Or no, the bondman or the slave. Every free man is the people that work for these guys, the mighty men. Every bondman is to work. Like, these are the corporate leaders. These are the mighty men of, you know, the world leaders. And the bondmen, that's like the slaves, the guys that work for nothing to do but pay taxes like us. But these are all the people that follow these guys, and they hide themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains. Well, what are these guys doing right now? They're building underground bunkers all over the world. The seed banks, the missile silos that are being turned into bunkers. And look, there's a bunker that goes from, I heard, from the White House all the way to these mountains, you know, back somewhere in Virginia. And so these guys will be underground if anything happens. Just going to mention that. And they're going to be saying, but here's the weird part. Here's the weird part, man. They're going to be saying, they're saying to the mountains, "Fall on us, hide us from the face of the Yahweh, the Creator," or Yeshua, whichever way you want to put it. But hide us from this. And why are they saying that? If these are just ordinary people, because they're not ordinary people. They know they're not going to. There's a fate worse than death waiting for these people. It's worse than death. These are all the evil people. And where are the other people, you ask? Well, we're dead. We're all dead. It says right here. Go up, go up, go up. I can't. Okay, and it says, and you know the saints that had been murdered and martyred, they cried out to God at this time, and it goes, "When are you going to end this and just be done with it and avenge our deaths?" And he goes, you have to wait for a little while, because he's got to wait till everybody is killed the way they were. You know, that's all the good people. When they're all killed and the only people who are left are these evil people, that's when the shit goes down. And what's happening in the war, my friends? Well, here comes China. Beijing sending troops to join Russia, the Russian war in Syria. Now, okay, this is pretty complicated here. We have Russia, China, Iran backing the Assad regime. We have NATO, Turkey, Saudi Arabia. We're backing the rebels. We have Hamas, who is backed by Iran, so they must be backing Assad. We have Al-Qaeda. I don't know their position. I think they got elected into the government of Egypt pretty lately or something like that. But they're over there fighting, doing something or another. Then we got Hamas. We got the other one up in northern Lebanon, Hamas, Al-Qaeda. Then we've got the Kurds, who are fighting Turkey but are fighting the rebels, who are not backing Assad. So I guess they're, I don't know. And then we got Turkey Kurds from Hamada Hamas. Then we've got ISIS. Okay, ISIS is what I'm forgetting. ISIS is just like fighting everybody. They're just fucking going around. Everybody's bombing the shit out of ISIS, and you don't ever hear too much about the Hamas and Al-Qaeda's and the other guys that are, you know, fighting around in northern Israel and all that too much. It's more the ISIS thing, and I guess they're just bombing the shit out of ISIS. Everybody's fighting ISIS. I guess we're all pouring in there and fighting ISIS, and we still can't defeat these guys. And but it's all a ruse, man. They just want to get all these armies into this one little spot. It's getting crowded over here. And of course, this is Mesopotamia. They want to have all these armies in the by the Euphrates River here, staging, just waiting around for something to happen. Now, what? But I just still don't understand it. What is the end game? I know what it is, to be practical. But look how big this Earth is. Why do you have to pick this one spot? What is so important about this one spot? Look how big we can go anywhere and fight. But nope, it's the one spot on Earth. It happens to be the same spot where the bottomless pit is, where these guys, the angels, were thrown in by the Yahweh, the Creator God, to a certain time in a day that's soon to be announced. It happens to be right there. What are the odds? I mean, look at the whole Earth, how big it is. What are the odds? Okay, that's all I want to say about that. Duck out.